So you said you have a partner.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet in the first place? How did you decide to get into doing this?
Well, it's a family business.
Okay.
Not anymore, but my grandfather, this was like 30 years back. He had his own tree company, small company, just a pickup truck, a couple chainsaws, and him climbing the trees up. When my father immigrated to this country, that's the first job he had, working for my grandfather.
Mm.
And, he learned the ropes and everything. He learned, how to really work, how to climb the trees. And eventually he started saving his money up to buy his own truck, his own equipment, and he branched off and started his own company. This was when I was like 4 years old. Okay. So, I remember seeing everything from the moment where he first started working with my grandfather up to where, to the level where he was last at, which was, a pretty decent-sized company. And, yeah, it was, just seeing how he would pull off the work that he did, how he started from a pickup truck to dump trucks, bucket trucks, and all the equipment necessary. And it was in 2018 here in Huntington that he got injured. So he was up on a tree, branch came, hit his eye, tore his retina. He was out. Oof. I had just graduated high school. I was my first year in college. And I had to drop out of college in order to support the family business, support the family. And, during all that, he got sick, he got injured. I think it's time for me to move down south. Take it easy, maybe retire, whatever the case was. And the option was for me to either go move with him or I just stay back here and start my own life. And, I remember talking to my girlfriend at the time. I don't know what I should do. I was like, I'm only 18 years old. I don't know if I could fend for myself. New York's expensive. I was like, what the hell should I do? And, I came to the conclusion, I'm like, it might be a blessing in disguise. I was running the company for about a year at that point because he was sick. So I was running it. And I was like, I think I might have a hold of it. I know how he works. I think I have, new ideas that might work in this industry. I was like, let me go for it. I bought the company off of him with my partner. And funny story, my partner used to work for him as well. But then he branched out and started his own company. So we kind of combined forces to buy my father's company. And it's been about almost 4 years now. Wow. That we're doing this, yeah.
So just off the backs of the pandemic basically is when you...
Literally right when pandemic, it was in September that we started, September 2020. Wow. Yeah, I was 20 years old. I saved up a little bit of cash and, started paying him off bit by bit to finally buy the company. And yeah, I remember COVID wasn't easy.
So you rebrand that? Or is it still, was it Tree Ease before?
No, it was Alicio Tree Service. And then we changed the name to Alicio and DB Tree Service. And then I found out that who the hell is going to remember a 12-syllable name? Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's just go with Tree Ease, as easy as it sounds.
Cool. Very cool. That's interesting. Most people that I meet start their own businesses. Mm-hmm. And you're the second person today that I've met with on the podcast that bought something that already existed. Yeah. I don't know the challenges that come with that. Mm-hmm. What were the immediate challenges that you faced with, you were involved in the business prior, so maybe a little bit lessened by that, but what were some of the big things that you had to fix at the beginning or that were giving you the biggest headaches?
I guess it would be just trying to get the pricing right. Because I would work with my father since I was 15 years old. I was pulling branches, hauling logs, doing all the grunt work. But it's very different when you do the physical labor against, actually running a company. Mm-hmm. You could be the best carpenter, but if you don't know how to give the pricing, do everything else, run a company, you're not going anywhere. So in the beginning, I would always usually take a loss on almost every job. I wouldn't know pricing, I wouldn't know my overhead, I wouldn't know what guys to bring, what equipment to do. It'd be a lot of the financial aspect was all over the place because nobody really told me about that.
How do you fix that?
Just diving deep into it, just taking a beating. Yeah. So yeah, it's bruises. They give the best lessons. So that's where we were going. I was like, okay, I got to charge this much on this type of job, and just little by little learning more. And recently I got a coach, and that's when we really dive deep into overhead and systems and KPIs, a lot of stuff.
Nice. I have coaches as well. Oh, yeah? They actually sponsor this podcast. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's cool. How long have you been working with a coach?
It's been about like 9 months now.
Okay.
He's nothing in my he's not in the landscaping or tree service industry, but he's in like patio industry. And I reached out to him because the same thing. I saw like somebody repost his story or his reel, and I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, he's giving out free information. He doesn't say he's a coach because nowadays everybody says they're a coach. It's like you see like 100 different coaches online. You're like, which one should I choose? I was like, let me go with the guy that's not even a coach that could probably guide me in the right direction. So, I hit him up out the blue. I DM him, and, we sat down in his office. He just gave me a couple of basic information, and I'm like, writing down everything that I could, just taking those down on everything. And, he was motivated by that. He was like, I saw that you took notes down on everything. You texted back like a week later that you were actually implementing the stuff that we went over with. He was like, if you want, I'll coach you. And he actually started a coaching company from that as well.
Oh, cool.
So we kind of both benefited from that experience.
What has been the biggest change in the 9 months that you guys have been working together? And you feel free to shout him out too.
James Reed, Road to 100 M's. You're the GOAT, man. You really helped me turn my company around.
Okay.
And biggest changes would have to be just putting systems in place for everything. So, in terms of marketing, in terms of the services we offer, just the way that I schedule, follow up, grab client information. We just went through everything and tried to put a system for everything in place. And it definitely just had a return. Like, even our customers, new customers, old customers, like, we see a big change. Like, keep it up.
Keeping them happy?
Yeah, keep them happy.
So with your service, is it more of a one-time deal, or do people keep coming back to you?
No, we have a lot of customers that keep coming back. And, it's like tree trimming. Me, personally, I don't really like removing trees because, I like I like how they look.
So it's a lot of maintenance. It's not just removing.
It's a lot of maintenance, yeah. We do removals when it's necessary, but we also do a lot of tree pruning, trimming back and landscape design too. So we always have those customers that call back.
I'm just putting on my marketing brain. Who are the people that are like referral partners for you? Like, who are the other business owners that you need to meet?
Yeah, referral partners is kind of tough. Like, we don't really have referral partners. So, if I work with somebody, it's like, I like the work you do. I'll be more than happy to, give your name out to somebody that I know needs your service.
Yeah.
But I guess...
Well, who are the people, what industries are doing that for you?
Okay, definitely solar.
Solar, okay.
Solar, yeah. So a lot of times, if there's a tree that's blocking your roof, blocking your house, it consumes a lot of the solar power you're supposed to get. You don't get all the tax refunds. You don't get all the tax breaks. So that's the way that, we help each other out in that way. They give me a call, we go cut the tree down, get them a low price, and we work that way.
Real estate?
Real estate, more property developers. So for like land clearances, we clear out lots, land clearances. That definitely a good referral program there.
And then, what was the other one that I had in mind? Oh, like home inspectors.
I don't think I've ever worked with one.
Okay, because so I have a personal story. My sister was just looking for a house. She just bought one out in Selden, and prior to that, they had a house. I forget where it was. That they were like, offer was accepted. They were in the process of getting the, everything approved, and they got the inspection, and they found that the tree in the backyard, the roots were growing through the foundation, and it was an old foundation. Like, basically,
the whole foundation was gone.
Killed the deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe there's other people out there who have, this is causing issues with the house or issues with things. So that was just the idea behind thinking there. But anyway, we'll get back to you. So, you and a partner. You have workers, obviously. Yeah. Is it just the two of you running the business, or do you have other people, kind of like administrators and things like that?
No, at the moment, no. It's just me and him, really. Like, if I need help, I have a bunch of college friends. I'll be like, come to the office, like, help me, like, send these invoices out, or help me, track these jobs that I've done. Kind of like a per diem, you could say. If I feel like I'm really, like, just, like, overwhelmed with work. I just call a couple of buddies up, they help me out. I pay them for the day. But other than that, it's just me and him. He does operations, and I just run the show behind the scenes.
So mostly the sales and most of the client communication and stuff like that?
Yeah, sales, client communication, scheduling, just making sure everything's in order. That's what I do. And he makes sure that the customer gets the best quality work we can give them.
Awesome. What's your biggest problem right now?
Biggest problem, I guess, it'd be trying to scale up.
Scale up?
Yeah, so it'd be definitely getting more leads, more clients.
Okay.
And not just that, but also I want to have like more managerial positions, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So like more office workers, maybe a secretary that could, help me do what I do now, while I could focus on actually building the company.
What do you need in order to do that?
I feel like I need more leads, because
Okay.
I wouldn't say that we're at the point where I'm like so overbooked, overworked, where I can't do what I need to do. But yeah, I feel like if it gets to that point where we start getting a lot more leads, a lot more clients, then it's definitely time to go get that secretary.
Yeah. So, from the outside looking in, I've just met you today.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that you're here in the first place is because I thought you were someone that I should know. I thought you were someone who has the right mindset. Just from the things that you're putting out there, the things that you're sharing on social media that I see, I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. Like, you got a good head on your shoulders. How did you get to this point where you come across that way? Like, how did you come to this point where you are this person? How did you become this person?
Just develop the mindset. It definitely wasn't easy at first. Like, the person I was in high school would not recognize the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So in high school, I was like the nerdy guy, really quiet, timid. And then it's funny, but I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for the gym. So working out, just helped me see that I could achieve whatever I put my mind to.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me that extra boost in confidence, and that helped, change my mentality in a whole different way. Now, when I got the company, that was another thing, just taking beating after beating, just, taking a loss after loss. I was like, I got to do something right. Like, where am I failing? I was like, is it me? Is it the customer? Is it my workers? I was like, no, it's me. That's what it comes down to.
So curiosity.
Just, curiosity and trying to see, like, what I could do to help build myself and my company. TikTok, you go through reels, and it's like, you can consume a bunch of garbage, or you can consume actual good information. So I would go on and be like looking at like stocks, finance, just like motivational videos, and like ways to alter your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Started reading a lot of books, started listening to a lot of podcasts, and all the information you consume, it helps determine who you are. That's what I've learned. So I feel like definitely social media, just consuming the right information, it's helped me out a lot.
How do you choose that right information? Because I think we're on the same page, and I think that's why. Like, you posted something last week about an episode of Diary of the CEO, which is a podcast that I've listened to for a while now, and I cherry pick certain things that I think are relevant to me that I want to learn.
Yeah.
How do you choose what you want to listen to or what you want to learn?
Pretty much, I like seeing. I like the people that I look up to. So if I see that they're in a position that I want to be in, if they're talking about a topic that I might be having trouble with, or a topic that I want to learn about, then I'll definitely engage with that.
Where do you want to be?
Oh, I want to be at the top.
What's the top to you? What does it look like from there?
Financially free.
Okay.
Being able to take my family on vacation wherever I want to be. If I want to work that day, I'll work. If not, I won't. Just buying anything that I want without being worried if it's going to affect me, and being able to just live comfortably.
Yeah, I think that's a dream for a lot of people.
For a lot of people, everybody.
I
think,
but most people aren't taking action to do that for themselves, right? Like, you went out there, got this company, worked hard, took care of your family when you needed to.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're doing all of the right things to get yourself to that level.
Yeah.
Do you have any like short-term goals, like what in the business?
Oh, in the business, yeah, definitely short term would be having two crews because we only operate one crew right now.
Okay.
Having two crews, do double the volume. That's one thing. Get new machinery, new equipment. That's another short term goal, and just be able to be more sustained in the wintertime. Like my company is our business is mainly seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
So wintertime we're like slow. We work for like a month or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to find a way that we could stay busy during the wintertime.
Whatever. Are you like developing new products or new services for the winter?
Yeah, well, we're definitely thinking about snow removal.
Okay.
But then again, when was the last time we got snow here?
Yeah, I mean, we got it a couple times I think I shoveled once this year.
Yeah, it is like, last year or 2 years ago, I bought like 2 brand new snow blowers. I'm like, we're going to start offering residential snow removal.
Mm-hmm.
We never even took those snow blowers out.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely, trying to think of ways. Last year, what we did was we ran campaigns.
Okay.
So we sent like email blasts, text messages to all our customers. Try to give discount promotions for the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Just to, stay afloat, keep the business going.
What were some of the things that worked during that time?
Definitely the referrals by the solar companies.
Okay.
Yeah. That definitely helped out a lot. And like I told you, the land clearings for like developers,
mm-hmm.
we got a couple of those, and they take a lot of time to complete, so it kept us busy for a couple of days. And those are probably the top 2 best ones.
What motivates you?
What motivates me?
Yeah.
I guess it'd be my son, my family.
How old is your son?
He's just turned 2 about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have kids yet, but
that's good. That's good.
No, I want to eventually.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think every guy, just dreams about, being a father, especially if they could have a son. It's like mini you. You see him literally grow up, and
so how do you balance that? Because that's a whole nother level to this.
Man, yeah.
You have to take care of a whole nother human being while building this thing from scratch.
Yeah, that's true. Like, my days start at 6 in the morning, wake up, go to work. My wife, she leaves him with a babysitter during the day while she works as well. And usually I go home around like 5, 6 in the afternoon. I pick him up from the babysitter, and I stay with him until about like 9 o'clock when she's back from the gym. And then I go from the gym from 9 to 11.
Wow.
It's a repeat every day.
That's a hell of a schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you did mention the gym before, and I think that's something that I met with a lot of personal trainers and people that come on this podcast that own gyms and stuff. I mentioned to you earlier that I go to 8 up over here. They're a client of mine. I'm a client of theirs. They came on the podcast. Like, what is it about the practice of the gym that you think has made you so successful? I mean, you mentioned you wouldn't be here without the gym.
Yeah.
So what is that? How does that correlate? Because some people I think watching would be like, oh, like, yeah, so the gym is its own thing. But how does it correlate to success or to business or to anything else?
Well, it's definitely you definitely got to implement the discipline in it. I remember when I was first starting off, I'd be going for like a week or two, and I'd be like, where are the results? I'm still like skinny. I'm still like 110 pounds. Like, where are the results? And it wasn't until I actually started going on days that I didn't want to go. Like after work, after college, I would still go. And then you actually start seeing changes to yourself and your body, and you're like, wow, like, the hard work that I'm putting in is actually paying off.
Yeah.
And I think it relates a lot to business and just, like any type of work you do. You might not see the immediate success. You might not see the immediate effect of it. But later on, you'll see the work that you put in is paying off. And
earlier today, I had a trainer on the podcast. His name's Carlos, and he owned Train to Win, which is a place up on Jericho Turnpike over here. And he said the same exact thing. And in fact, the conscious consumption piece that I gave to him was an episode where they were talking about having smaller goals, but having them be sustainable and things that you can constantly achieve and accomplish.
Yeah.
The discipline of doing something for an hour a day is very difficult.
Yeah.
But the results over a long period of time you'll get better results from doing an hour a day than you will 7 hours in one day.
Yeah, for
Probably.
Sure.
Yeah. And with the gym in particular, that's very true, because you can overtrain your body 7 hours in one day, right? And the effect of that workout is not going to be the same as if you worked out
every day,
every other day for a year, as opposed to once a week for 7 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you'll kill yourself faster at that rate too.
I mean, probably.
Yeah,
I'm not a health expert when it comes to that stuff. But
you go work for 8 hours, then work out for 7 hours. Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, and you lose a whole day of work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before, and leads perfectly into the last segment of the podcast, which is conscious consumption, which I told you about earlier. You're very aware of what you're consuming. You're very aware of the things that you're trying to learn, and the podcasts that you're trying to listen to, and the books that you're reading. The purpose of this is I give a recommendation, and then you give a recommendation to our audience. Mm-hmm. So I prepared this one for you.
Awesome.
This is a cool one, and I'm going to give this to you. It's Attention Management. My business coach gave me this book and said, you got to read this. And I like to pass on books.
Awesome, yeah.
The subtitle here is Breaking Free of the Myth of Time Management. People think they can manage their time, but they can only manage their attention, is the purpose of that book. Quick read, small little tactics in there. Looks like a kid's book. I was definitely like, ooh, do I need to read this? But what it does is I think it teaches you what you already know, which is where you put your focus and your attention is what is going to get the growth. And I think as you grow, which it's clear that you're going to, you're going to have to choose more and more where to put your attention.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that I struggle with all the time. Is like, I can put my attention on doing the work, but if there's so much work that I can't possibly handle it all, then what do you focus on? What do I focus on? What do I put my attention to? It's something I'm not great at yet, but it's something that I'm trying to learn and get better at, and I think that's a good first step.
And I think this is a great recommendation because I was just last week I was just overwhelmed with a bunch of things I had to do. I was like, what should I focus on? Like, should I do this bid? Should I work in this job I have going on? Like, what should I put all my attention to get that out the way? And I feel like I get overwhelmed when I have a lot of work to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I tend to procrastinate a lot as well.
That's something that I said earlier.
That's a real problem with me.
I think business owners are all alike in that there's a bunch of shit that I have to do right now that I haven't done yet. And the question that I've been asking myself recently, or maybe just the statement that I've tried to reinforce in my mind over and over, is when I procrastinate, I ask for help.
Yeah.
And I don't ask for help as much as I should from my team and from people, that are around me, because I feel like, I have to. I'm the business owner. I'm the man. I have to handle it. But when you ask for help, people are more often than not willing to give it to you, and especially if they're on your team.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got Eric here behind me, and I've got Matt, who's my project manager, who's down in South Carolina, remotely working with us. And any time that I go to those guys with a problem that I'm having, they help me to solve it. And so when I procrastinate, I ask for help now. And this is a good reminder for myself, because there's a couple of things on my task list that I'm definitely procrastinating that I need to ask for help.
I would write this down right now.
Yeah. I'll pull up my laptop after this and show you my to-do list for today, and it's check off 3 podcasts from that. But other than that, not too much, just a bunch of phone calls that I took today.
Damn. Yeah, nah. I mean, have you heard about, I think it's keylogging, something like that?
No, what's that?
So it's you write. It's not a to-do list. It's more of a something that you have to achieve. I don't know really the best way to explain it, but you should definitely look into it.
How do I spell that?
I think it's book logging, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's I saw somewhere in a podcast that most millionaires, most successful entrepreneurs, that's how they get things done. Because if you put a to-do list, you don't know you might get overwhelmed because you have a lot of things to do, but you might not know the significance or the importance of each thing.
Okay.
So you might either tackle the least important things to get more done, or just tackle on the biggest thing you have to do to get, like the biggest whale out the way.
That's another one. Eat the Frog.
Eat the
another
Frog.
book.
A book.
Yeah. That's literally like eating a frog is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
So eating the frog is doing your most difficult task at the beginning of the day.
And once that's out the way, it feels like you accomplish anything.
Exactly. But what you're saying there on the opposite side is you can bundle together 8 small little tasks where it feels like you're doing a lot and you're getting a bunch of these little things that have been sitting there done. Because that's what happens to me all the time. It's generally speaking, I'm getting the big things done, right? The most important shit is getting done. The shot lists are going out and the crews are getting ready. Sometimes a little later than they should be, but more often than not, those big things are getting done. But it's the little things like the communication and adding this thing to our project management software and all these different things. Those are the little things that slip. And it makes a difference because then the team doesn't know what to do. So at that point, I become the problem. I become the thing that's holding everyone back.
Yeah.
As opposed to vice versa.
And that's usually how it is. Sometimes we're so focused on the bigger things that the little things, we put them to the side until it start adding up. And you kind of see a repetition of the problem, what's going on.
So what's something that you've watched or read recently that you think people who are listening would, business owners who are listening should read or
So just this morning, I was there's this podcast on Spotify. It's called the Ass Breaking Motivation.
What is it?
Ass Breaking Motivation.
Okay.
It's pretty much a series of a bunch of different seminars or motivational podcasts, whatever it might be. And sometimes instead of listening to music, I'd rather listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't find myself in the right headspace, if I'm feeling a little down or if I feel unmotivated, I'm let me pop that real quick. Let me listen to that.
Is there a specific episode that got you going?
There's one by Andrew Tate. It's called, I'll tell you right now. Let me see. It's called... Hold up. It's called How to Become Mental Tough by Andrew Tate. And pretty much the podcast starts with, a young guy asking Andrew, what's the easiest way to get a six-pack? And Andrew's like, why does it have to be easy? Why can't it be hard? Why can't you have to, suffer? Because when you suffer, then you could actually enjoy it because you actually endured the whole process of it. And, it's a lot of times, as a business owner, you face, a lot of, downfalls, or you could face, a lot of struggles. But you don't realize in the moment that that's something that'll help you build and become a better person in the end. So, sometimes if I'm going through something that's that might push me back a bit or affect my mental health, then I listen to that and I'm this is just part of the progress. Just something I have to overcome, the other things that I've overcome in the past. And it's just something I try not to dwell on too much on the negative things. I always try to look at the positive, and that's a good way that I do that.
That's awesome. If my math is correct, you're very young.
I'm 24.
24. First, I want to thank you for being on. And second, I want to say, I think for a 24-year-old, if when I was 24, if I had the mindset that you have right now, I feel like I'd be 10 years ahead of myself right now. So I'm excited to watch you and see what happens with this, because I feel like at 24 I was making so many stupid choices. And it's only 5 years ago for me. I'm 29. I'll be 30 this year. But even just thinking back to 5 years ago, I'm like, God damn, I was such a fucking idiot. And you don't seem like one. So
I still do a lot of.
But everyone does. But
everybody does.
The stuff that you're talking about, I learned myself.
Yeah.
Very recently. I don't know. I'm gonna have fun watching you because I feel like you're going places.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. But when do you think, what age do you think that you flip that switch where you're like, I gotta stop bullshitting and I have to like, like, because obviously it said that from 5 years ago to where you are now, like you were doing a lot of stupid mistakes. So what point do you think that flip switched, and what caused it to switch?
What caused it to switch was my girlfriend, now my wife. We lived together. I think that was the moment when we started to live together and kind of start a life. I've been lucky in my life. I didn't have any tough situations or tough things that I had to go through to get me to where I am, which afforded me the ability to fuck off a little bit and fuck around, which I'm not complaining about.
It's an experience.
It's an experience, but there's things that 18 you got forced into. All right, I've got to take care of myself now.
Yeah.
That didn't happen for me until I was 24. So
that's 6 years right there.
That's a 6-year difference. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it feels like. It feels like you just started. When I was your age, I was just starting your journey. So like it feels like we're at probably the same place.
Probably, yeah.
So that's cool. Like I'm excited to see what that 6-year difference does for you in the long run.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Because you got the mindset. You're. It seems like you're a bit of a killer.
I try to be, man. I try to be. Thank you.
So yeah, for me it was 24. It was moving in with my girlfriend and being like, all right, I guess I got to be an adult now. I guess I have to.
It's like that prefrontal lobe just turned on.
Yeah. Like, oh, gotta provide.
I tell my wife too. I'm like, yeah, I feel like recently, like my prefrontal lobe just turned on.
What does that mean? Because I don't know.
Like your prefrontal lobe is so women, they mature more faster than men.
That I know.
And it's because their prefrontal lobe turns on quicker than us.
Okay.
And it's about like a 3 to 4 year difference. I'm not too sure, but they mature faster. So ours is more delayed. So, but I feel like I felt like a little bit more mature than what I was last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not going to stop though.
Yeah, it never stops.
You're just going to get better and better every single year as long as you maintain the same mindset and the same discipline to keep doing what you're doing.
Keep hustling too, man.
Yeah. And hustling's great to a point. You can only hustle so hard.
Yeah.
Then you got to do what you're doing now, which is building the systems and building the things out.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's going to afford you the ability to, in 5 years, be on the beach. And
wherever I want.
Yeah, exactly. The dream that you talked about.
That's true. I mean, I feel like what caused me to have that dream was the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, where he talks about like his rich dad and his poor dad. Fortunately for me, I didn't have, I'd say, a rich dad, but we were pretty well off.
Okay.
I saw my dad hustle, work hard for everything he wanted, and now I see him. He's about like 50 years old. I see where he's at. He's living comfortably now. He achieved his dream.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him work hard for that dream definitely, got instilled upon me. And, I realized that, if he came to this country with nothing, he built something from scratch. Luckily I was blessed enough to be able to buy it off of him. But he built it from scratch without even knowing how to properly communicate that good English. I told you that he butchered my name on the birth certificate. It just proves a lot, Like, he achieved that dream without anybody helping him out. And I think that's pretty dope. That definitely is something that I look up to. It just reminds me every day.
I've got nothing to add, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Cool.